right, this is Sports for Real with Coach Hall. Want to come on this morning and talk about the Jaguars and the update on their new stadium project. As you know, the Jaguars and the city have a proposed deal where the city would refurbish the stadium or, reinstall it, overhaul it, build a new stadium, basically what they're going to be doing. And to do that, it's projected to cost the city $1.4 billion. And the Jaguars want the city to pay $1 billion of that project. Why? Because the city owns the stadium. Shah Khan, he probably can reach into his pocket and do it himself, but it's just like you going next door and paying all the expenses on your neighbor's house when you have no stake in it. They can kick you out, do whatever. They don't have to deal with the Jaguars and kick them out and get another team. But they know in the back of their mind that if they ever lost the Jaguars, then that's going to be the end of the line for the city of Jacksonville when it comes to the NFL. So it makes solid sense that the Jaguars and the mayor have come to agreement about this new stadium project. Is it finalized? No. They're going to have a meeting next week to determine the details and who's going to end up paying what. Again, it's a $1.4 million situation, $1.4 billion situation, and it's very similar to what is taking place in Buffalo. The Bills finally got a stadium deal after years of trying to get one. They even considered going to Toronto. They even played games up in Canada. But it's best that the team stayed pretty much where they are, and I think everybody finally realized that. But it costs New York and the city of Buffalo $900,000. The rest of the money is going to come from some fund through the NFL, but they're paying very little. And again, the key to all of this, these are all city-owned stadiums. Again, Shah Khan, he probably can reach into his pocket and pay it all himself, but it doesn't make sense to pay all that money for something he does not own. Now, if he bought the stadium, that'd be something different. But also, he had London in his pocket. They've said all along that they don't want to move to London, but London, they got a brand new stadium that's ready to be moved into. So if the Jaguars didn't step up, or Jacksonville didn't step up, they were going to lose that team. And if they do, they'll never get another team again. But there are some other winners besides the city of Jacksonville as a whole. The area around the stadium is in bad need of upgrades. Khan, he has these projects, the Lot J and it's the riverfront property shipyards that they're going to redo and modernize. And when all that is done, that's going to make the city of Jacksonville a major player. They're going to have things for people to do when they come to the game other than just going across the street to get some coffee or some wine over at the Intuition Ale Works. There'll be some other things that people can do. But again, it's a great thing for the city, and it makes the city a major player. Like every other city around, these kind of deals leads to other things. They don't have a professional baseball team here. I don't think they're going to get one because they have the team in Tampa, unless they moved here. And you have the team in Miami, and the Braves, they have a real big stake here, so they're never going to get a team here to overtake the Braves, so I don't see baseball ever coming here professionally. But basketball is a possibility. That new arena they have, they can fit an NBA team in there, and they probably draw pretty good. The closest NBA team here is Miami. It's about equal distance between here and Miami and Atlanta. So this wouldn't actually be a bad spot for an NBA team. So if Jacksonville can pull this off next week and finalize things, that'd be a big shot in the arm for the city. Speaking of basketball, NBA playoffs heating up a little bit. As soon as you start talking about how dominant the Celtics are, they go and lay an egg. Last night they got beat by over 20 points in Game 2 on their home floor by Cleveland. Cleveland is a very huge underdog, and yet they come right in and knock the Celtics off. Just the other day, I said that the Celtics It didn't make any difference what was going to happen in the New York-Indiana series. That team couldn't play with the Celtics. But then they showed up last night and laid that egg. That's the thing with basketball. You can look great, and all of a sudden you have a bad outing. So I'm going to take it as that's the bad outing. You know, you have the odds that are going to work in your favor every now and then in basketball, and I think that's what happened to Boston. But if they go to Cleveland and they get beaten Game 3, they're going to be in a similar situation as the Nuggets. You know, the Nuggets, they're down 0-2 to Minnesota, and Game 3 is tonight. I think the Nuggets, they're pretty much done. If they don't come out and steal this, get this game back, this might be a sweep. Just like they were talking about the Nuggets sweeping LA, they're about to get swept in Minnesota. The other team in the West that I thought would challenge Denver for a spot in the finals, OKC. Last night, they lost to Dallas. So they got their hands tied too. But when you look at all these upsets that's taking place, it makes you wonder. And it's been said a lot of times about the NBA, these guys are looking for ratings. They know that Boston is the best team. You know that Oklahoma is better than Dallas. So why not call these organizations and say, look, let's extend this series out so the league can get exposure on television. The theory is, we know you're going to win this series, but make it interesting for the fans. Give them something to talk about. Somebody like me to sit here and say, look at this team over here, how they're beating around the bush. I hate to think that that's any truth to that, but I'm certain there is some truth, because if you look at the way the NBA playoffs usually work, you can have a great 7-game series. It goes 3-3, and everybody's talking about who's going to win Game 7, and then the home team comes right out and blows the other team away, the team that should have won the series all along. But I'm thinking, if you're good enough to push your team to Game 7, why are you getting blown out in the final game? There are no more adjustments to be made. So when those things happen, it leads you to believe that maybe there's some kind of conspiracy taking place in the NBA. Just something to think about. But at the same time, until we know that answer, we have to deal with what we can deal with. And as it stands right now, Cleveland pulled off the upset last night against Boston. Same thing with Dallas over OKC. And the reality of it all is Minnesota is playing better than everybody right now. And until you can slow down this Anthony Edwards guy, who's starting to look like some of the greats of the past, and they're comparing him to Michael Jordan and Kobe. I'm not going that far, but he is playing at a high level right now. And until you can slow him down, Minnesota is going to be a hard out. I'm not picking Minnesota. I still think that somehow, some way, Denver is going to push this to a Game 7, and they're going to pull it out. But if they don't win tonight, they're going to get swept. So again, recap. Jaguars and the city's mayor have come to terms on a new deal for a new stadium for the Jaguars. And if you look at the renderings of that place, it kind of looks like the new stadium out there in LA, SoFi Stadium. But the caveat of it all, if you look closely at the top there, they have these glass-like coverings that covers the fans. And that is a big deal down here in August. A lot of times in the early first 2 or 3 games, the preseason game and the first 2 regular season games, people being rushed to the hospital. They have ambulances all around the stadium because people are being rushed out of the stadium for heat-related issues. But when you put this new covering over the top that they're talking about, that's going to cool the stadium down 20 to 25 degrees. So if it's 100 out, to drop it to 80 to 75, that is a huge difference to the fans. And having something like that in place is going to be great for the city. The other thing that you have to decide, besides how much money each partner is going to contribute to the deal, is how long is the project going to last? Are the Jaguars going to have to be farmed out for 26 and 27, or is it just going to be that one season that they're going to be gone and then come on back and play in a half-renovated stadium? They can do that. You just close off half the construction part. Just don't even go that way. I don't think they're going to do that, but they're talking about Daytona Speedway and Orlando is a possibility. But I think what's really going to happen is they're either going to go to the University of Florida to play, which is about an hour away, or it's another opportunity for the University of North Florida to build a stadium up, host the Jaguars, and at that time implement a new team out there. So it's a lot of possibilities for everybody involved. But UNF has been savvy about the moves they've been making over the last 10 years with sports, especially on the high school level. They have Florida State come in every year for fall practice for a week. And now the Jaguars are looking for somewhere to go for at least 1 year. So it's an opportunity, and they have connections with the city. This could be a great opportunity for the University of North Florida. But I think in the end, even though it would be great that they could go to Daytona Speedway, they'd never be able to fill it up. Orlando is the only other possibility. I think they're going to end up in the University of Florida. So that's my take on what's going on right now. Got to go to work. You guys have a great day. This has been Sports for Real.